His promises just for a minute. Could you tell your other neighbor that God will do what he said? That God is not a God that stops halfway. He ain't going to start healing you and then forget the job. But if God starts something, could you just squeeze your neighbor's hand and say, he will finish what he started? Oh, yeah, he'll finish what he started. Sometimes in the middle, there's a pause. But tell your neighbor, don't panic when there's a pause. Don't panic when you don't see the completion of it. Don't panic because the enemy says it's not going to happen and tell you you ain't got the money and there's nothing that the doctor can do. And your kids say there's no way they're coming back to church. Could you tell your neighbor, don't panic when there's a pause? Don't panic because you don't see it. Don't panic because the devil says it's not going to happen. Could you tell your neighbor, God is not finished yet. He still's got a plan. He still has a timing. He still knows what he's doing. He's still working it out. Could you just hit your neighbor and tell him God ain't finished with your kids? Could you hit your neighbor and tell him God ain't finished with your healing? Could you hit your neighbor and say God ain't finished with your deliverance? Could you tell your neighbor God ain't finished with your financial breakthrough? God is not finished.